Hi, my name is Alice, and this is my video for my Cortex XSOAR contribution. My contribution is Kubernetes integration for XSOAR, where you can have two-way integration where you can manage and scan Kubernetes containers for vulnerabilities. I had a look in the marketplace for Kubernetes integrations, but I couldn't find any besides the proprietary ones for Google Kubernetes Engine and Amazon. This is a generic Kubernetes integration. So here my settings. So we just need to have a cluster URL and a token. Okay, so that's all set up. And my third parameter is a key for vulners. Vulners is a vulnerability database security scanner. It's free right now, and it's actually very useful for scanning Kubernetes containers. So this is my Kubernetes playing right now. So I just have two pods running. Okay, so everything is okay. So I'll switch to my playground and I can run some commands. Okay, so this is just getting a list of pods uh, from the controller. So this is just what we saw just now, the Kubernetes pods. And one useful thing that, again, I'm all these useful commands in the integration. One thing I can do is detect the OS in the pod. So I'm going to try and detect the OS in this SMAP pod. Okay, so it comes back as Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And another useful thing I can do is to execute a command. So I'm going to execute this command on the pod. Okay, so this just actually grabs into configuration to find the value. So this ability to execute shell commands on the pod is at the core of my contribution, where we can actually do a lot of auditing and remediation just using shell commands without having to rely on containers actually running together with the pod. So let me get some packages. Okay, so I'm just going to get packages for this pod. Okay, and again, this is just using simple shell commands to get these packages. Okay, so I have a list of packages here. So what I will do now is I'll just run a vulnerability scan on the package. Okay, so what this is this send the list of packages we just saw to the vulners database and receive the scan. And you can see there are actually quite a lot of vulnerabilities, surprisingly, for a relatively up-to-date um, enterprise Linux. There are actually a couple of vulnerabilities. And all these scans are reflected in your vulners account, where you'd be able to get a summary of every time we do a scan, we'd be able to get a summary. So this is a scan that we just did. And we can see we have a nice report and stuff. Okay, so what I can do is I can create some incidents. Okay, so I'm going to create an audit incident. This basically represents an operator auditing a container image. So I'm going to do a vulnerability scan. Okay, and can fill in a namespace and my pod name. And of course, there's different details that I can fill in regarding just the type of audit, just the status of the audit and how far along it's going. And I have different playbooks that I can run. So this is just a playbook that I created to do a vulnerability scan. Okay, so this is just some of the incidents that we created, and I will post more on this as I update it. Thank you.